Hello and welcome to the stream a second time. Sound issues, not quite. The thing is, I go back and forth between a couple of different things. This is I do for fun. We are, of course, talking Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, or affectionately known as FAF. Today we've got a 2v2. That's enough of those bothers. Let's just crack right onto it. We've got the Doctor and Taffy versus Zaznoba Azuros. This was played on the 14th of November 2022, which was yesterday by 20 minutes as I record this. And so let's jump on right over now. Just been watching Galcast. That's what caused me to do this. We're live streaming in 4K thanks to the RTX 4090. Makes this a doddle. Did a trial a couple of weeks ago. I've increased the user interface to 200% because the text was insanely small to read. But I do suggest you watch this in as high resolution as possible. You can see there the ACU icons actually did not scale up. But that's okay. We're going to enjoy this now. And so let's crack on. Let's get rid of the music a little bit now, as well as we focus on the game entirely. And so Team 1, which is going to be the red guys here, we've got Zaznoba, and he is playing in the rear with the gear. He's going to be Cybran today, and on his forward position is Azuros here, playing as UEF. I used to always play as UEF. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Broadsword was the reason I went UEF back in the day when nobody else had them. T3 gunship. Coming over here onto Team 2, we've got Taffy in the front also as UEF. And behind him in rear air guard is, of course, the Doctor underscore, and he's going as Seraphim. So both guys got UEF in the front. Red team's got Cybran in the rear. Lower team's got Seraphim. I always liked Cybran for when it came to T3 air, due to the stealth aircraft ability, although I know the Seraphim, while they didn't have stealth, were a little bit stronger, and so it just depended on what kind of techniques and tactics you were thinking of. Teams overall, we've got a high percentage, it's at 97%, but as always when it comes down to these things, I always find the team with the stronger player out of the two usually wins. So in this case, the red team, we've got 1963 and 1459, whereas the blue team, we've got 1755 and 1581. So the blue team is far more balanced. The red team has the stronger player and the weaker player, but overall that averages the scores out. So in my experience, and again, I haven't seen this replay, but more often than not, the red team is going to win, because if they take out the weaker player, the stronger player inherits his stuff, double eco, and so on and so forth. Interesting map. It's Forgotten Lakes 20 by 20, so that's the same size as Saturn's Clutch. Those sort of maps, not one I've played before, not a random generated one. We've got a lot of interesting terrain on this one. You can see there's a lot of hills, mountains, valleys, a little lake there in the middle. Not sure, in fact, more than one little lake. Not sure these will feature too prominently, but I'll tell you what, if you get a couple of, if you get like one or two cruisers in each of these, it's going to be a very good TML stroke air defense. Not sure if it's going to be worth it. We'll have to see how static the game is. But I can imagine in longer, more static games, people making use of these lakes. Again, just for the, what is a mobile SAM / TML launcher / TML defense all in one if you get a cruisers in there. And here we can see first one to cross the front is Taffy with a couple of labs. He's the first one past the halfway point, and they're going to run into Azuros potentially. He's got one mech marine but with a scout, so intel's certainly favouring Azuros there, or Team Red. Blue team continuing straight ahead, and if we hold down shift, which is something else that's not scaled up, but that's fine. That's why we're going with 4K to mix and match. I don't think I'm going to stick with 4K on this. I think it really does play best in 1440p, what I lazily call 2K, 2516 by 1440, but we'll roll with it for now. You can see here that Taffy is trying to move in to deny this particular expansion, but I think he's far too late. Azuros has already capped the 4 mexes. He's about to go for the Hydro. I'm wondering here, is Taffy's Mech Marine going to pick this guy up? He's certainly pinged the Mech Marine out to his teammate. And right now, this is where all the action, if any, is going to be, and this engineer having avoided this mech marine. This mech marine has now been given the order to move in. I'm wondering, is it going to be too late? We're going to find out. He's in pursuit by a mech marine. If he can take that engineer out, that hydro. Oh, 3 hit points at 150. That would have been quite big if he could have delayed that hydro, because of course early game energy, well, mass as well, but energy is the key thing that you're going to need. There is a lot of mass points dotted around. We've got a few reclaims. Nice to see that those have been scaled up. We've got 10s and 20s, so nothing too major. Anything bigger in the middle? Not really. We've got a few larger wrecks here. In fact, if you zoom out, I like that it combines the mass scores there. So if we zoom out, each one of these mass-rich fields has got 800 mass in total. So not worth ignoring. Down here, looks like Azuros was successful in taking out an NG that was dropped there. And we can see here Doctor pulling one of his engineers back. He's already got a second drop here. And we've got Air Forces out. And yeah, Azuros showing the better play here. He's getting his engineers down and getting factories down straight away. All around all the key spots. His ACU rather is already pushing through Central Estate. If we have a little look through here, mass totals, Taffy actually leading at 7-3, so the stronger player for the lower team, although he's not the strongest player overall. Looks like he is pushing to the north and to the western side, leaving his teammate to cover the southern sector. That would be the Doctor. It's going to be interesting because that means the weaker player down south is going to be up against a stronger player from the north. And again, though Azuros is the strongest player overall, he is playing the weakest player on the other team. And here we got some Air Forces moving in. Taffy and Doctor looking to deny this particular expansion from Azuros, but importantly, the factory is already down, so even if he does manage to take this engineer out, he's actually got mobile AAA. You can be almost for sure that that's what that factory is going to produce. He needs to take out this mobile anti-air gun. Looks like he is working on the factory, but that AAA gun is going to take him out long before he manages to finish off that factory. And there it goes. We do got supporting tanks moving in now for Azuros. It's a very messy map, this one. There's no single line of expansion. It's dotted all over. They do manage to take out that little raiding party from the south there from Doctor. And you can see he's already moving in with a dropship for engineers. Yes, there's going to be so much mass. So this game, I reckon, is going to escalate quickly. We've got so many mass points on the field, and it's split with just 4 players. I won't like to guess how many mass points we've got, but there's a lot of them. That's one of the advantages here in 4K. You can see this little mini-map on the left. You got a lot more resolution there. You can see quite clearly what's going on. See, you can almost recognize the units. In fact, I'm sure if I squinted and held my head really close to the monitor, I'd be able to see that as well. So far, we've got quite a nice split diagonally, as you'd expect. Blue team dominating slightly on the lower right, red slightly on the upper left-hand side, which is not what I would expect. Again, we've got the stronger player from the red side pushing down, and the weaker players so far looking like... is ACU moving down the side? I never... Alright, it's quite a large map, so you could argue there is no central point, but ideally the ACU, at least until 10-15 minutes, depends how long until the experimental's out, maybe 20 minutes, is the strongest unit in the game. You don't want the strongest unit right at the side of the map. You want it in the middle, and here you can see Taffy, the higher rated player, he's got his ACU about as middle as it can get, and that's reflected here with Azuros. Recognizing the strongest unit in the game, you want it as centrally as possible, not off to the side. Zaznoba doing very nice with the air. He's got a lot of aircraft over on his side and he's got a whole bunch of units. This is a strong area. With these 4 factories, he's going to be able to reinforce this area nice and quick. Nice little run by from Taffy over on the north side, looking to pick up this factory, which he's going to do no problem. Does have a solitary bomber harassing him, but that is not going to save the day here. That is going to deny this reinforcement spot, which is exactly what he needs. Does need to keep moving though because of this bomber. He doesn't want to lose too many of these tanks to this overhead bomber, even though those, and indeed he moves right on. Very nice to see. Got nice reinforcement points here from the Doctor. And even though he is a weaker player for the blue team, he's still rated 1581. In fact, the weakest player, Zaznoba, is 1459. So I'm sure this guy, one-on-one, would kick my ass. Nice little power template here, PGen. This here is ensure that there's no easy way to drop a bomb onto that. Yes, you can drop a bomb onto one of these, but it's only ever going to kill one PGen. Nice placements. Azuros not bothering with stuff like that. He's going to rely on his air defenses to protect his PGens. Again, for those people not aware, with templates, you can create a whole bunch of things, lay them out as you want, select them all, and save them to a template. And then next game, it's just a matter of selecting that template. And instead of having to click, what's that, 25 times to build these PGens, you just got to click once. And if you're even smarter than that, you can use a hotkey to map your template. You don't even need to click once, although I was never one to remember all the hotkeys. I'd like to play too many different games to remember all of that. If ever there's such thing as a hotkey, it's going to be the HOTAS in flight sim games, or rather flight air combat games. And that's about it, but that's a completely different game. Got Taffy here, starting his upgrade to T2, a whole bunch of engineers assisting. Is he able to afford that? Well, you have a look here what we got. Energy, income. Taffy producing 1.9k, so he is going to be able to afford to upgrade his ACU with a whole bunch of engines. You see them there, pausing briefly and then continuing. Was that automatic? I'm going to say yes, it looks kind of automatic. One of those auto mods that prioritizes key structures such as shields or radars. Pauses air factories and upgrading units. You can see here, if we look at how many engineers are assisting the air factory, you see there's a whole random bunch of them auto pausing and not. That's going to ensure that he never completely stalls on energy, which is going to make everything else much easier to do. Got a solitary mantis here just tickling away some of these hydrocarbons. He does need to deal with that at some point, otherwise they're going to mop up that hydro and then deal with these. But so far, trying to see where's the real issue. We've got, again, bombers and isolated units, sporadic combat everywhere, but we're still seeing this 50-50 split. Northeast versus southwest. Taffy starting to push through centrally somewhat. He's got a whole bunch of engineers. You see, what's really nice about being T2 on the ACU UEF with a whole bunch of engineers, and if you don't have engineers, you can spam down T1 factories real quick, is it's very quick to upgrade to T3. And you'd want to upgrade to T3 not just to give you access to the Ravager or the SAM. It lets you build so insanely quick, not to mention the health points. And yeah, Taffy, a nice big grouped air force there. If he keeps those together, he's going to be able to pick off Zaznoba's air force, or what there is. And what's he looking to do? Well, he's looking to dig in what looks like here. Azuros. I used to play with an Azuros, spelt slightly differently. Azura, not Os. And yeah, he's going for the gun. See how quickly that's flying up. He's already T2. And here's that air engage there between Taffy and Zaznoba. And looks like Taffy... Was it the Doctor? The colours are so similar. No, it is Taffy. I do like the fact that both sides are blue. Now, this here is a terrible engage. He's running away from inferior fighters, giving them completely free shots. He does eventually pick up the situation, turn around and deal with them. And is that solitary mantis? Well, we've got 3 mantis there. And here we do have a little engage up top. And we're starting to see some T2 tanks now from Zaznoba. Those are the rhinos being a silent. Just turn that down a tad. Versus a whole bunch of T1. That's going to finish those off, no problem. Unless, of course, he stands completely still, then these artillery shells are going to land. But looks like the artillery shells instead overkilling a solitary mantis. Now the rhinos are moving. And that's going to go the rhinos' way. We do got some artillery shells landing here, and looks like one or two of them does land, but alas, with the reinforcements right here, doesn't even look like they're going to need reinforcements. Two rhinos there finishing off. And we do got Azuros and Zaznoba pushing through the central fields now. We do got Taffy ducked in nicely. We've got a shield and a whole bunch of T1 PD, and he's rushing up a secondary T1 PD. That's going to defend this place nicely, but not before the shield gen was taken out. And he's now moving in with a couple of T2 gunships. That's going to take care of this little run by, no problem. Going to leave him a nice little bunch of reclaim to pick up as well. And you can see as soon as he's got that done, he wants to get straight back on with the shield. I don't blame him for that. The shield, of course, hugely important in this game to prevent snipes. I see he's moving in with the T2 gunships there. Gets behind the enemy air force with his own air force, managing to pick them off almost for free. We've got a solitary ASF here. And with a whole bunch of T1 interceptors managing to pick off the ASF there. The numbers 20 versus 1 doing the thing. And here we've still got like 6 gunships tearing up this T1 and T2 run by virtually for free at this point. He needs to keep his air force in the area because, of course, the enemy's going to continue sending airships in. Got a nice little patrol move there, and the gunships continuing to take on. Looks like very little, if any, anti-air cover from this group, so these gunships basically getting a whole bunch of kills there for free. I cannot see Zaznoba making that mistake again. As we got some T3 spy planes around there from the red team, checking out what is blue doing. And of course, starting with the T3 air there, looks like he's continuing to expand his T3 power grid, and then no doubt starting on an air grid. And in the front here, Taffy moving up to T3 on his factories as we approach minute 17. We've got a solitary strategic bomber here coming through. Has it been picked up? Not yet. It is pinged now. In fact, there's two strategic bombers, one behind the other. This can quite easily take out. We got some aircraft moving in. ASF managing to get some shots off, but not before the bomb was dropped, and that's taking out the two T2 power gens. Managing to take out also a solitary mech, but that is a bit disappointing. Two strategic bombers between them, only managing to take out two T2 P-gens and a solitary mech. With the additional T3 P-gens here, well, we got two T2s, one T3 in a second about to come online. I doubt that is going to hamper Taffy for very long. We can see he is stalled out at the moment. You see production there down to 860, but he's going to be leeching a shed load of power from his teammate, and there you can see it coming through. And yeah, all that power leeching from his teammate. That attack was almost for naught, unfortunately there. I feel if he'd had a couple more spy planes, he could have picked out a better target. Certainly with two T3 ambassadors, I'd have been looking to both of them fire on the P-gens. Of course, without the ASF coverage, it would have been a one pass. Only still, this little team of gunships is moving on here, taking out what they can. But this time, it looks like their days, or rather seconds, are numbered. Azuros moving in with his ASF, and that's going to finish those off, no problem. Solitary interceptor there moved in. We've still got some run-bys down here with isolated units. What we got here, a whole bunch of T1 spam moving in. That's going to run into a whole bunch of T2, these Ilshavas. These are my favourite T2 unit in the game, I think, the Ilshava. The Seraphim Ilshava, very fast. It's basically like a walking mobile T1 point defence. And yeah, that's going to deal with that little run by. And in the middle, it's pretty much standoffish here. We got Taffy walling up. I'd like to see Taffy getting his ACU up to T3 as soon as it allows, because no doubt he's facing off against superior enemy forces. Looks like both Azuros and Zaznoba concentrating their forces down the middle, and he needs to be able to defend that. If Azuros went T3 and got a Ravager in there, that I would fear is going to be the end of the game for the blue team, because this is their defensive line. And while it's working very well, 1 or 2 Ravagers is going to knock this entire thing down. He does not want to be second when it comes to putting the Ravagers down. We do see a whole bunch of T2 coming here, tangoing with some of Taffy's T3 as well as T1 spam. That's only ever going to go Taffy's way, especially when he's got these fixed point defense in place. The unevenness of the terrain is giving Zaznoba a slight advantage. Some of these rounds go into waste, but not too many. I think Taffy will be pleased with how this is going so far. We're starting to see the mobile missile launchers coming in. That's only going to take so long for this tactical missile defense here from Taffy to become overwhelmed. And then with that, the shield's going to go down. We do got another attack coming through, this time on the south side from Azuros. And he moves in so far and then looks like he elects to return. Losing a few units in the process, but it's I think it would have been a lot worse if he'd have pressed with that attack. See Taffy moving to build a second wall of T1 PDs. Immediately cancels the command once he realizes that that order to continue has been aborted. Looks like, I'm guessing he's getting a support factory here, trying to upgrade that, no doubt to get some T2 engineers on the front line to assist. He needs to keep those mobile missile launchers out. Zaznoba, meanwhile, getting T3 on the ACU. And here we got a few T2 units chasing down a few T3 bots. T3 bots very badly damaged, but looks like there might just be enough to save the day. And indeed they do. Just about repelling that attack. The shields managing to regen in the nick of time. That's going to leave those bots pretty much ready to fight right away. Meanwhile, the Doctor sending a whole bunch of T3 scouts around the field, trying to see what is going on. And yeah, as we'd expect, more TMD going up here from Taffy. And yeah, I really would be expecting to see Taffy upgrading shortly. These T2 point defense are getting huge value here. Able to pick up all these units that Zaznoba is sending through. They're getting 3 shots on all of them. Whether it kills them or just severely weakens them, they're getting very good value for money here. We see Taffy starting to do some run-bys up on the left with now superior units versus weaker spam. And I don't think it's going to be as easy for the red team to repel these lot. You see there's a whole bunch of T3 Titans coming through. And yeah, Doctor looking quite secure down here in the south and catching some of Azuros out of position. Looks like he may be able to take some of these. And these are all T3. No, they're not all T3. One of them is T3. The rest are T1. If he can pick that T3 support factory off, that's going to hamper Azuros' ability to resupply. You can see he is working on it, but looks like these units are now caught up dealing with the counter-attack. And I don't think they're going to be able to get much else done there. Now we're starting to see T3 mobile missile platforms come through. We've got 2 of them there already. Scratch that, we've got 1. And yeah, once again, Taffy looking very strong. So what's he giving? Oh, he's got mobile arties. Very nice unit there. Was not expecting to see mobile artillery units produced there. But what a unit to produce. And yeah, not entirely sure what Zaznoba is doing here. All of this is to waste for free. I think his attention must be elsewhere, but he's lost a whole bunch. I'd love to know how many hit points he's lost then. I'm guessing it's in the tens, if not hundreds of thousands. Yeah, Taffy looking very strong, central and north. Again, Rumbai not able to completely annihilate the red guy. He's just taking out a lot of strong units. Running into a lot of spam. He's going to knock all of that out. I'm wondering, is he trying to clear it out or just cause headaches with the Rumbais? Little Rumbai here from Azuros to the south, knocking out one of the Doctor's weaker flanks down here. In fact, quite a large Rumbai here. This is a very invested in area for the Doctor, and there is very little to defend it. We've got a solitary T1 PD. He could lose all of this if he's not careful. Meanwhile, Doctor deciding to press up onto the northeast side, leading the way with artillery spam. That's going to knock out these PDs. There is a bunch of T3 bots there, and I don't know, with those Ilshavas, I think he could do it. Got a solitary Ilshava sneaking around the other side here. And he's picking out engineers, but perhaps a bit of a mistake there. Perhaps he's pulling back to deal with this, but I'm going to say this attack's going to be way through here long before his defensive measures get in. You can see he has recognised the threat. He's beginning to spam T1 PD, but I'm not entirely sure it's going to be enough. See a whole bunch of T1 bombers here trying to prevent the initial units coming down. Those two T1 bombers are going to be more harm than they're worth if they land anywhere near these construction bots. Yeah, looks like this is going to be a massacre. He's continuing to spam T1 PD and bombers, but he's fast running out of engineers. Just one engineer remains. And just a solitary T1 PD remains. Oh, we do got some more down here, or rather one more. And he's got so many PD. He also sending some T2 gunships in. He may, with those gunships, be able to prevent total annihilation down here. And if he does, it's going to be a very nice bunch of reclaim there for him. I'm just wondering, how long is it until we see the first experimental pushing through somewhere? Got some teched up PD here. This would be a very nice run by here for Taffy, but seems to be so many nooks and crannies on this base. In fact, Taffy able to break Azuros' forward base. Azuros electing to pull out at some point. He just sent a scout over there. He'll be very pleased with what he's seen. I got a T2 radar system there. That's begging to be taken out, and that's going to shut off the red ability to see what's going on. Meanwhile, still got these isolated rumbais all over the shop, and finally there, Zaznoba repelling that blue rumbai. If you remember, it started pushing through here. It went all the way around, not really causing that much damage, more just knocking out units. Did take out these 5 mechs here, but so many mechs. It's more of a headache than it is a problem. And Taffy continuing to press. Pulling his ACU out now, realising it's at the time where things are starting to get dangerous. 27 minutes easily on this map with the amount of mass points you could have an experimental knocked out. And in fact, there we go, Monkey Lord just over the 50% mark. Zaznoba's ACU stood nearby. We've got zappers and T3 factories, more zappers on the forward line. The only thing missing here is some SAM site coverage, and he'll be okay for the foreseeable. Doctor now starting on T3 ACU. See, he's in the rear with the gear and is starting on his air grid as we'd expect. So far, we've got 3 factories and a 4th down here working on the T3 shield. That's going to prevent any lucky strat bombers getting through, wiping out his air grid. Taffy, meanwhile, pushed back on the northwestern side with a whole wall of bricks coming through. We got at least 12 bricks here coming down. Heavy 11 is starting to take some pot shots. We've got 3 Percys, now 2. 1 power shield, now 1 Percy, 1 power shield. Single Percy, is it going to get another shot off? No, it does not. And with that, game, set, match. We've got a single Percy here. He's trying to move back. He gets 1 shot, but yeah, he's not going to stand a chance with these bricks. He's managing to get some free shots off. If he doesn't hit the terrain. And yeah, he's going to need a couple more Percys there. See, some of these bricks are very badly damaged, where they're just going to need 1 shot to kill them. And meanwhile, Taffy trying to counter the harassment here. Picking off a whole bunch of T3 factories. He needs to... this one, look at that, just 400 hit points left. And he doesn't manage to get it. Does take 2 of them though. That's going to knock some of Zaznoba's T3 bot production back. And Zaznoba now walking into the kill box. And although this is pressing deeper than Taffy would like, I don't think he's going to get much done with this. He's got a lot of badly damaged bricks. And they're walking right into a kill zone. We've got T1PD coming here. And yeah, there they go. 2 bricks remain. Then there was 1. And then there was not. I preemptively said 1. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, there it is. We did get the confirmation there that the Monkey Lord was ready. There we see it coming out. Preceded by a wall of bricks. Of course, the Percys are going to one-up these bricks, but I don't know. He's maybe outnumbered on... Yeah, he's outnumbered on T3 PD as well. He has got this nice little fire base. The question is the Monkey Lord going to run straight through it? Or is it going to try and go around? Taffy really needs to try and hold on to as many of these T3 bots as he can. Here we've got a massive air engage. The Doctor taking on Azuros here. And certainly numbers look like they're with the blue team. The question is, who's the better at micro? You certainly don't want to be engaging over a whole bunch of enemy flak. That is only going to benefit the guy whose flak it is, no matter what the numbers are doing. But it does look like he's winning the air engage. Real nice couple of turns there. And Azuros recognizing the threat. Turning tail, trying to keep alive some of his ASF, but alas, it's no point. Blue, at least for now, having air dominance. And we've got a look at this. A whole bunch of... I say a whole bunch. There's only a handful of ASF. Taking out a huge number of T1 bombers. And I think they're going to win. Tangling with a couple of T1 inties as well. Meanwhile, what's happening here? Well, rather than running straight in with the Monkey Lord, he's decided to hang back outside of the range of these weapons. He's now getting visual via his air. We got a whole bunch of T1 PDs. He needs to have air coverage here so that these can fire. And there we go. He needs to keep his air force here so that he can keep visual on this Monkey Lord. That's the priority. Now he's moving in with his Percys, trying to knock out some of these bricks. He absolutely needs to keep these T3 artilleries firing on the target. And the only way he can do that is to keep visual, or at least radar coverage on the Monkey Lord. I think the only way he can do that is visually. I don't think he's got an Omni sensor here. And I'm starting to think this is not looking bad for Taffy. Sorry, not looking good at all for Taffy. Monkey Lord is taking a lot of damage. But what's he going to have left after? Zaznoba moving in with a whole bunch of supporting T3 support there. And looks like the Monkey Lord might go down. There it goes. But looks like he's going to lose the entire process. The entire base, rather, with his support in T3. And there we go. Taffy now lost the middle. A base that was looking very strong until recently. We see Zaznoba with a cloaked up ACU coming in the rear. No doubt looking to capitalize on all these kills with engineers. See Taffy desperately trying to build as much T1 PD as he can with his remaining engineers, but it's going to be no good. The bots have killed him, and that represents the final shot fired in what was the end base there. Meanwhile, Azuros have been systematically clearing out the Doctor's bases there on the right. Did see a little counter-attack there from the Doctor, but it doesn't look like it's going to last very long. Superior forces chasing him through. Zaznoba now the weaker of the red players, sending mass over to the stronger, no doubt wanting his teammate to do something with it. And I wonder, is there a fatty in construction, or is he looking to overwhelm the enemy with Percy's or something else? Meanwhile, we see there a crab on the way from Zaznoba. I'm sure there was oh no, the second Monkey Lord not yet complete. In fact, this is a bit of a mistake. Put 2/3 of the mass into a Monkey Lord and then leave it. I'd like to see that continued. You've already paid for 2/3 of it. You've got so much mass down here, it's going to be easy to pay for. Meanwhile, Taffy coming through with the counter-attack. This is dangerous for Zaznoba, because even though his ACU is cloaked, if they get a spy plane or Omni coverage, his ACU has had it. So I'm surprised he's not moving back, just out of caution. He's already got his land factory down. You know, what more do you want? And here we see Azuros showing the T1 bomber is not dead, spamming T1 bombers down to deal with enemy mass points. And continuing his attack down here, and now he's wiping out this lower base that the Doctor tried so hard earlier on to hang on to, and managed to hang on to the worst of it. At this point, looks like it's all gone. Taffy, meanwhile, working on his counterattack. There is the Maser ACU, and they're currently not picking it up, the Maser ACU. Oh, this is dirty. Thing is, if he gets seen, they're going to focus on him. And looks like for now, they're not doing. I'm surprised he's not been pinged yet. And Taffy getting ready to call the GG. Doctor thinks about it for a moment, realizing, yeah, we're getting swarmed left, right, and center. Where you look, the doors have been hammered through. You really need to think outside the box. Taffy calling GG, and that looks like where the game ends. And no surprise, take a look here. Mass income, we got 1.5 to the red team versus less than 500 for the blue team. Energy to reflect that, and that's the end of the game. Fought valiantly, I thought there, and once again, living true. The team with the stronger player, even though overall teams are balanced, was the team that went on to win. We'll have to see exactly how often that is true, but certainly seems to be the majority of cases. I hope you enjoyed that one, and that's it from me for today. Until next time, wherever in the world you may be, take care and bye-bye.